In this part of the video, we are going to see how we can actually store values from our Tinker to our database. So if you can check, we don't have any current values inside this our table notes. Let's go ahead and use Tinker to actually store some values, because I want us to make some query and go into chunking values with our model. So let's go ahead and run PHP artisan Tinker. So once you run this, it's going to bring out the Tinker interface that you can actually use to make use of your model and also store your values into your MySQL database. So which is very simple. I'm just going to say that nodes is equal to new. Then you specify the name of the model. Then you can say that nodes, if you can remember, we have a column called title. So I don't know why I keep making mistake. We can say note 1. Let me just say body of note 1. And when we say $node save, it's going to save this into our MySQL database. And when we go over to notes over here and click on it, you can see that value that we just entered from the command line is actually in our MySQL database. Let's go ahead and store one more value. So I can say that nodes is equal to new app nodes. I can say that node title is equal to node 2. I can say that node body is equal to, I can say body of node 2. Then I can just say that node save. So when you don't run save, whatever you kept in your title or the body is automatically stored in the memory, which is not released to the database. So you must make sure you complete that. So we have already added 2. Let's go ahead and check that again. And you can see the second item we just added is inserted into our database. So that's how we can actually make use of that. Right now, let's go ahead and chunk and work with our model directly, not from the Tinker as well. Let's work with it with our routes. So if you want to get the nodes from our database, they are pretty simple to do. We can just come over here and say $nodes is equal to, you just have to bring in the nodes. So at the top here, just the way you used it on your Tinker, that's the way you are going to use that as well with the namespace. So you just a static class, then you can just say $node or. And when you run $node or, let's go ahead and dump this value. This is supposed to be nodes. It's going to show us some values in our browser. So let's go ahead and visit startlara.com /nodes. So we don't have a homepage route. And you can see most of those values here actually got dumped. So we can also pass these values to our UI, which we are going to do immediately, so that we can see how we can use this value in our UI. But let me kind of show you more things you can do with Laravel. So let's go ahead. We can just return a where clause. So a where clause can be, you can just say $nodes, sorry, not posts. $nodes, you can say nodes. I don't know, I'm wanting to type posts. You can just bring in the where clause. Then you can just select the title. Then the title can be anything, but let's just go ahead and select the ID. And you can say ID is 1. Let's go ahead and dump that to see whether we are going to return the one that has exactly that ID. So let's save that and refresh our browser, and you can see automatically it's going to return all those things. But this kind of doesn't make sense, because if you check here, there are a lot of chunks that we cannot even understand, or even where our data is being stored. So that's why Laravel has this functionality to push data to the UI, so that you can actually use this data. You push the UI and use it just like the way you use an object or a standard class in PHP. So I'm just going to return view, I'm just going to quickly create a view. So back in the down in the resource folder, let's go over here in the views. We are going to create nodes. I'm just going to create an index.blade.php. So over here, I'm just going to return the nodes index. Then we can actually pass the value, like if you see there's an auto suggestion that just came out right away in Visual Studio Code. You can actually do it this way. You can just say the nodes is equal to $nodes, or you can even do it this way. But let's just go ahead and give this a try to see whether what we actually pass will work. So we can just say, we can just use the UL. So I can just use the blade template that be if. So we can just count the nodes, whether they are greater than 0. So let's just go ahead and say yes, they are. So make sure that we are actually passing something to our database. Let's go ahead and refresh that, and you can see automatically we get yes, they are. And if you want to look through that node, it's also very simple. With the blade shortcut, you can just say blade for each. Automatically it's going to tell us to put in the collections as nodes. Then we can use the li. Then we can just say nodes, nodes title. Let's go ahead and refresh. And automatically you can see we have the nodes 1 and node 2. This kind of looks more better than dumping the values with the variable dump global function. So this kind of pretty cool with Laravel, how you can actually work with your data. And if you want to get only one node, just like we use the where clause, we can just say $nodes here, and over here we can just comment this out, and you can just put a list. Just put the $nodes, and because it's not an array, we can just say if $nodes, then this should show. Let's go ahead and refresh. And I didn't get that. Perfectly. I think I made a mistake somewhere. Let me kind of check. To be a string. Okay, object given. Oh, sorry guys, I didn't put this down. Yeah, the title. Title does not exist. Oh. So I think I'm not actually getting this, but we can actually dump our values as well from the blade template, because blade template also supports running normal PHP code. So we can just say $nodes. Let's go ahead and dump that. This kind of makes it more better. Looks ugly as well, but looks ugly. So let's just go ahead. We are still going to come back to this to see how we can pass single values to our UI. Let's just stick to the one that we have. So I'm just going to redo everything that I have done, and I'm going to release the comment and save. And over here we can just pass the notes once more. So there is another way we can use to also pass to the UI, and that is using the with method. So we can just say with notes, but we also accept a key value paired. So you must pass the key value, and when we go to our browser and refresh, you can see the node 1 and the node 2 still shows. That's how we can pass values to our UI. Let's go back to give that single value a try. So I'm just going to say $nodes. Okay, I forgot to put something called the get method. The get method, which will actually return it for us. Let's create an array of data, which is going to be an array. We have the nodes to be the $nodes, and we have the nodes to be the $nodes. So let's close that. So right here, instead of us passing just a single value, we can pass that array. I can just say the data, Then we can just save that. Coming back here, we can just let me just go ahead and comment this. So we are passing the data and the notes. So let me just go ahead and put the data. I think it's data notes. It's kind of long. I use Laravel. Then I can put the title. Let's go ahead and refresh. I didn't get that. And that's because I forgot that this notes is also an array. So this is just like returning an array of values. So let me just go ahead and give that a try again. I can say notes is the notes. And over here, I can just use the before each. So guys, sorry for that, but I think this should work perfectly. Yeah. Then when I put the title and I need to remove any var dump, and that should be it. Yeah. So it's kind of long. I use Laravel, so that's why I'm not able to remember this perfectly. But you've seen that we can use the where clause to get anything that has a single ID or a type of ID. Maybe you have a column that has a simple type of ID for each user. You can use the where clause to get that. We can also order by. So our model supports the order by, so you can try the order by. So the order by, I said, let me just go ahead and try it. So we can say the notes is equals to the notes we want to order by the ID, and we want to make it descending. Then we can take only one value from there, because we want to, if you want to retrieve only one value, then we get that value. So right here, let's make use of the plural, and let's save that as notes here, and also the plural. And let's go ahead and let me just get rid of this one. We don't need that again. And let's go ahead and refresh, and it should get the one item for us. So if you can observe here, we took one. What if we take 0? 0 is nothing, but 1 is 2. Let's go ahead and take 2. 2 should print all the values, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I sorted it by the descending. That is why we are able to get the first item from the array that it will return from the order by. So that's how you can use the order by. You can also order by title. We've already shown that, but using your model is a cool way to query your database. What if you want to use the data, the DB from the, let's say you want to use your DB. So like the model view pattern connects, your DB automatically is matched together with your model. That's why you can use your model here. So it extends to the base model. The base model extends to the DB. So you can use that DB to also query your database. So it's just very simple. All you just have to come to the top. You can use your DB. Then over here, all these things you'll be doing, you can also do it with your DB. You can just say that a notes is equal to, then we can use the DB. Let me kind of bring that up. So we can just use the DB. So DB, you can use select. We want to select, we can put select all from notes. So this DB is same undefined type DB. Let me go ahead and check. It's like Laravel is changing a lot of things. So why we got that error is because Laravel changed the way they place the DB. So the DB is now being used from the facade interface. So we can just use that DB and grab the same nodes with our query. Let's go ahead and refresh, and we still get that same nodes. We can also use the DB to make a where clause. So if you check in the official docs, you can find a way you can do that. So we kind of really touched how you can use the DB, and let's stick to this. Let me just comment this out. So that's how we can use Laravel to actually query our database. So if you kind of see here, we used the where clause, but Laravel also supports what is called chunking. Chunking is more like when you want to get 1,000 values, but you want to get like up to like 5 items, not all the values, and use it to work maybe in the aspect of the route to see how you can handle your logic or even your middleware. Laravel supports what is called chunking. Let's go ahead and see how that works. We make use of our model, and in the model you bring in the chunking, the chunk function. So we want to chunk only one item from our value, then, or maybe you want to chunk only 100 items from let's say the 1,000 values, then you can just use that items this way. You can just say for each $nodes as $nodes, and that's how you can use that. Then if we dump these values, let's say $nodes this way, and give our browser a refresh, we should actually get those values. Okay, I didn't bring in the title, I guess. So let me just bring in the title. And you can see we have node 1, node 2. So let's say we have 1,000,000 items. Automatically, we should be able to limit the item to the ones that we want. So that's how we can use chunking. We don't want to grab every values from our database. So there are more to this chunking. You can read more on the documentation to really understand and find perfectly how it works. Laravel also supports what is called find. You can, let's say you want to find the nodes. So you can just use the nodes find. You can put the ID, and it's going to return exactly that node for you. So let me just comment that. So we've already touched the where clause, and the next part we are going to go over to blade templating system. We really covered the main things in Laravel, especially in the route model and also the migrations. So in the next part, we are going to cover the blade templating to really understand how we can deep dive into this templating system. So thank you for watching, guys. Do make sure you hit the like button and also the subscribe button, and see you next time. Bye bye.